Good play. Traditional place. Too much rush of blood. Guy, chill small, chill small.
Mixing football and rugby there. Welcome you on the show. 360 Sport on Trust TV. Adini Ajishafe. Well, it was a night of celebration for Real Madrid and Bayern Munich for the fact that they were able to do it against Arsenal and Manchester City. English teams are out from this competition. What happened to them over the night? Well, a big one. Some people say the elephant is limping. We'll be talking about this quickly. We look at UEFA Champions League quarter-final. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich reached semi-finals, beating City and Arsenal. It was a tough one. It was a tough one there. Let's look at the result as it went down on aggregate-wise, and also talking about the team that have made it to the semi-final right now. Bayern Munich, they defeated Arsenal 1-0 yesterday, cost of that 3-2 aggregate that they got. And right now, the Bavarians are celebrating while the Gunners, the Guns couldn't load some bullets and they went to sleep. For Manchester City, it was a payback time for Real Madrid, who actually did well via penalty shootout. They played 1-1 draw there. 4-4 it ended on at least extra time before they went on penalty shootout. Real Madrid was able to do it, and they actually did it convincingly well. Right now, they are celebrating for the fact that they've been able to qualify for the semi-final. Let's look at the semi-finalists of this competition that will be coming up. You have Bayern Munich against Real Madrid. Borussia Dortmund will face PSG, and Mbappe is saying, bring them on. We are ready for the Madrid stars, the Los Merengues as they call them. They are ready for the Bavarians. Borussia Dortmund, can they hold their own against PSG? Well, that will be answers to be given to all the fans across the globe by 30th of April, when they will be playing the first leg of the semi-final that will be coming up between the four teams there. Well, for England or English teams, Manchester City, Arsenal. Well, that's football. They learned their lesson, really. Well, on a lighter note, actually, some Arsenal fans are really not too happy for the fact that Arsenal, despite all the chance they had, they couldn't make it. What happened to the elephant? The bandage there on the leg of the elephant. What happened? Premier League limping. Champions League also limping there. Just to add some spice to the show quickly. Well, let's look at MPFL. Well, we move away from Champions. Let's talk about the MPFL, where Doma United, Remo Stars battled to a scoreless draw in Gombe. The match that was at least an outstanding match, and the play yesterday, it ended in that particular draw there. Right now, if we cross over to look at how the table is standing after those games were played, let's look at the MPFL match day 30 for the top 10. You look at Remo Stars are standing fourth there. They fought their way to number 4, having 50 points from 29 matches with a goal difference of 9. You look at Bende Insurance, Kano Pillars in that order. But really, for Enugu Rangers, they are showing why they are called the Flying Antelopes, really doing so well, topping the table with extra 3 points ahead of Eyimba International. Flipping into the back of the table now, 11 to 20, you look at Doma United. They are standing 13 on the log after they shared that sport against Remo Stars there. Well, you have 30, you have 38, you have -9 for Doma United. And it's a big one because they really want to see how they can get better, and really they fought hard there. For Kwara United, trailing them, Bayelsa United, Sunshine Stars. The other team from Gombe State, Gombe United, are second on the log, rather at 28 on the log, I beg your pardon, with 22 points from 30 games with a -36 goal difference there. Well, just to let you have a feel of what happened yesterday over there in Europe and also in Nigeria. But when we talk about sport, there are some sports in Nigeria that we really need to look at. Attention is only on football, but this particular sport is also football, but in a different way. It's called rugby, and you saw it there earlier on when we talk about rugby. Now we'll be talking about rugby sport development in the grassroots level across Nigeria. We have a guest who is actually the general manager of Nigerian Rugby Association. He's here to give us, take us through the activities of that association, how developed is rugby in Nigeria, in the person of Isa Lawal. Salawa is here to talk with us. Good to have you, Isa.
Thank you so much for having us, Mr. Adeni. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
You actually look like a rugby player.
Thank you. I'm one of the smaller ones on our team, I'll tell you that. But yes, rugby has been developing in Nigeria and is gaining so much momentum at the moment. So glad to be here, glad to promote it a little bit more. So thank you for having us.
Okay, we've been talking with Issa Lawal. Salawa is in the studio with us to talk rugby. A lot of people are into this sport. If you don't know, even women, they are into it, and we'll be unveiling that today. We'll be talking about the women. They call them Green Falcons. We have the Hawks too. You can see our women. They are playing rugby. In fact, they look bigger, stronger. The way you see those rugby players in Europe or South America, that's how our rugby women, you can see them in their own colors there. Kudos to all of them playing this very, very strong competitive sport. It's a strong one there. If you are not fit, you can't do this sport. You just have to be very fit. Well, that's why Issa Lawal Salawa is here to talk about rugby sport development in Nigeria. And let's start with the women first. Okay. Because if you check, you were there yesterday when the minister was talking about sport development, that Nigerian women are really giving us so much joy. Yes. And now let's start with the women. Look at what they've done. Take us through the Green Falcons, yes, for what they've done in rugby sport. So the Green Falcons, they're a newly established team. They've been operating since last year. They've had 2 competitions so far. They remain undefeated. So just like the minister said, women are doing outstanding for Nigerian sports, and likewise the Green Falcons are also part of that, and they've definitely not disappointed us. This year they will be playing for Rugby World Cup qualifiers in Kenya, against Kenya. So it's one game, win that, and they're in the World Cup. It's a feat that Nigeria has never achieved before. They will be the first Nigerian rugby league team to achieve a World Cup qualification. So we need the whole nation to be behind them and push these girls and let them go and lead us to some success as well. Now, talking about women now, we're still referring to women because if you look at it, this is a very physical sport, very strong. Do we have teams like the way you have league for men, for women in Nigeria? Yes. So we're doing that, we're developing that, it's all part of the development. So every team that has a men's team also has a female section of the team. So we integrate the training sometimes where it's not too physical, just so the understanding of the sport is across board. But when it comes to the physical playing, we separate them, the male and female, allow the females to engage along with themselves and the males do themselves. So with the female development, it's growing as quick as the male. Right now, we don't want to focus solely on the male's development. We want to make sure it's happening simultaneously. And while we're doing the female development, we also look into the grassroots youth as well. So every team that is established in Nigeria, part of the league, will have a female and youth program. Okay, you mentioned youth program. What was the age bracket of this youth program? Okay, so we have there's a rugby league academy. It's called Ibudo Academy. It's based in Lagos, but they work across the nation. So they start from over 12s. So once you're over 12, you can start participating. We are working on the under 12s, where it's going to be like a flag tag rugby, where it's not physical. They just get to learn the basics of the sport. But from the over 12s, we allow them to start getting a little bit physical with each other because of we're allowed to build that grit. You know, Nigeria, we're naturally strong, fast, but we need to get the technical education as part of this. Once we get that technical done, bring in some elite coaches, the sky is the limit for Nigerian rugby. Okay, talking about the sky is the limit for Nigerian rugby, I know we faced Ghana several times, and the rivalry between us, from food to music to movies to sport. In rugby, it has always been kind of Nigeria, Ghana. Why is it always like that? So are they the 2 best in West Africa? So I would say that. So Nigeria and Ghana are the best in West Africa. They're the best established as well. Kudos to Ghana. They've made sure that they've kept their league going, built up the male-female team as well. So it allows us to have competition as well. That is just across the board for us. So it eliminates so much cost of logistics, etc. So we tend to play each other quite often for our test matches or competitively. Fortunately, Nigeria has always defeated Ghana, so we remain undefeated while playing Ghana. And there's another thing that Nigeria is winning ahead of Ghana. Okay, when it comes to rugby, let's come back home now. Let's talk about grassroots development of this sport. Is there any way you make maybe any awareness about this? Because we noticed that most rugby players are located in major cities, Abuja, Lagos, Kano. Where those clubs are. So what about how do the other players or people who are interested in maybe cities, villages,
Yes.
where they don't even have a rugby club.
Yes.
How would they be able to join this kind of...
That's a fantastic question. So this is one of our major development goals, is to allow rugby to be prevalent in all geopolitical zones in Nigeria. At the moment, we have some, we're building up the coaching. So once we get the coaching established a little bit, we can then trickle it around to allow players and coaches to start developing their own areas. At the moment, what we use for development are the players. It's a sport of passion. So the players work almost on a voluntary basis as coaches as well. So they go to schools, like myself, in Lagos prevalently, in Kano, they do a huge scheme where they bring over 200 school children, they play a competition. It's a huge event, you know. So those type of events allow the kids to leave, their parents to leave, go back home and understand that, look, there's a game here that their children can succeed in and be quite really successful in their development.
Okay, good one. If you just joined us, we've been talking with Isalawa Osalawa, who is the General Manager, Nigerian Rugby League Association. He's here with us to talk rugby development. And really, that sport is gaining momentum. A lot of rugby players, in fact, you see them. Let's talk about the men now. Yeah. The rugby men, too, they are grabbing. If you see the way the Kiwi, they call them, the New Zealand team, yeah, American team, Wales, and all of them, South Africa, how well built, muscular they are. I'm seeing some Nigerian players too having such muscle. Look at them.
Yes, exactly. The Nigerian boys, we've got the grassroots development, we've got the international players. The best thing that happens is when we merge each together, we allow each quality to develop ourselves. With the international guys, they are quite important to our development and our competitions because they bring some technical skills, some of their education from abroad. They bring it home and help develop our guys as well when we play simultaneously together, and these guys take it away and build their own areas as well. So it's a hand-in-hand type of work. We all make sure that we work together. Yeah.
Okay, well, looking at this particular graphics, one of those days where you have very slim Nigerian rugby players, but now I'm seeing it's as most of them are more muscular than the way it used to be. What's the secret?
Exactly. So the secret is good training, good routine. They stay fit. It's important to remain fit. So, like I said, Nigeria, we're naturally strong, fast, quick. Once we just add the technical aspect into it, the sky is the limit for us. If we look at certain countries such as Papua New Guinea, their development has come from grassroots. They've embedded rugby into their development. It's probably their most prevalent sport, and right now it has been a huge GDP generator for them. So for instance, for us in Nigeria, like the minister said, we're going to have to diversify from just focusing on football. Rugby is another team sport that we can potentially be very great in and can generate a lot of income towards our GDP.
Okay, talking about rugby generating income for Nigeria, how do you intend to do that?
So with that, we need to start gaining much more awareness. Once we can push that awareness out, get a community from it, we can have people coming to watch.
Okay, then it means partnership has to come in.
Partnerships have to come in. So with that, we are currently working on the first partnership is with the Ministry of Sports. The Honourable Minister has been fantastic in giving us an ear, and once we get the endorsement from the Ministry to allow us to push ourselves a bit further, it would allow better credibility when we search for local and international investments. International support has already been coming. We have collaborations with some of the professional clubs in the UK, in Australia. A lot of our clubs, homegrown, are named after certain clubs in foreign places based on our collaboration and the support that they provide for us. So that has been prevalent already, but at the same time, while we look at international, we must look at homegrown. Just like you were at the business conference, sports and business conference yesterday, one of the major things were the private sector has to start helping sports in Nigerian development, because we can't just leave it to be a ministry's job alone. It's an uphill battle for them already. So once the private sector joins in, it allows us to collaborate all together. It allows better private interest and community development, school development, scholarship schemes, And rugby for Nigeria could be a huge game changer in terms of our grassroots development, having some of our youth take a new path, having them go through an education system, such like they do in America, where collegiate sport is a huge thing. So whether you end up going professional after your college degree, or you end up just getting a job, you've at least been able to empower yourself a little bit better than potentially not having that option or that opportunity to be able to grow in that development.
Now, talking about rugby now, there are events lined up for the development of this sport in Nigeria. Can you take us through some of these events so that people will know that, okay, we play rugby here, we do this here, this month, that month, is happening in Asaba, is happening in Lagos, that?
So exactly. So first of all, this year we've got a few competitions lined up, like you mentioned. For the first 13 players, it's the men's team, the Green Hawks. They have Olympic qualifiers as well. They're going to be playing in South Africa later this year. Likewise, the women will be having their own Olympic qualifiers against Kenya later this year. Along with that, we have our local competition. The local league is currently ongoing, so you can tune in, you can support that. We're going to get better coverage so that it's more broadcasted for the public to be able to see, learn, educate themselves, understand the sport a little bit. So that is happening as well. Along with that, we want to diversify into beach rugby. Beach rugby is going to be a huge event where...
Okay, beach rugby to beach rugby.
Beach rugby, yes. So it's going to be more of a social event. We're going to have artists come down, we're going to play games, there'll be barbecues,
so
music.
It's like mixing entertainment and sport.
Entertainment and sport, just like we with the conference yesterday. Business and sport, it can't just be on a voluntary basis or an ad hoc basis. It needs to start generating income for itself. So beach rugby is going to be something that is going to generally push the entertainment aspect of the sport out there, the education aspect of the sport out there, to allow corporate organizations, people traveling into the country, people that are based in Nigeria to participate with a group of people. It will be a learning and a very enjoyable experience for everybody, male, female, children, all involved. So that's what we're trying to do this year. We want to make sure that the momentum in terms of PR especially is pushed through the roof.
As you mentioned PR, I noticed something about Ghana Rugby. They've been able to push theirs. And that's why Trust TV always make sure we promote Nigeria, as they say it goes, document Nigerian stories. We're talking about Nigerian sports now, rugby, and in a way to push this sport and every other sport out there for people to know that they actually exist. We have players who are into it. We are one of them, and that's why Isa Lawal Salawa is here with us. Talk Rugby Development in Nigeria today. He's the General Manager, Nigerian Rugby League Association. Really, rugby is here, and we are talking about it. And to let you know that if you want to join, just like he has mentioned, there are so many cities or places where they organize events. And before you go, on a lighter note, I've seen the New Zealanders, how they start their own, or Papua New Guinea. Do you guys do that too?
We actually do.
They call it, is it Harahiri or something?
So for the New Zealanders, they call it the haka.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's a general name almost. Everybody has embedded that name as a haka as well. So ours is a haka, but a version of our own haka.
So what is our own?
Our own is very traditional. It is more traditional power. War cries, so it comes from majority the southern part of Nigeria. So you can just imagine when we used to go to war and battle, civil wars type of thing, that type of war cries, to put a shake into our opponents, and let them know that we mean business.
Okay, good one there. But our time is off. We just have to go right now. But Isa Lawal Salawa has been with us. He has taken us through this sport of rugby, and we really hope that that sport can get the attention that football is getting. A lot of Nigerians are into rugby abroad, also in Nigeria. We need to promote this. Not everyone will do soccer, football. Some people will actually go into rugby or karate. That's why he's here to talk about it, and we want to appreciate your time for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you giving us the platform. Appreciate you giving sports development the platform. It's extremely commendable that we have such an ecosystem that we can push our development, and you help to promote that. So thank you very much for that.
A big one there coming from Isa Salawa there, the General Manager of Nigerian Rugby League Association. Well, as we always say, that sport is fitness and business. I'm Madeni Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.